Plate.
That sounds good.
Out Bankhead. Oh, this is right here is my favorite. But as far as Bankhead, it ain't about calling. It's patience.
Patience.
I learned it the hard way. Them old timers I used to hunt with, carry me hunting and sit there for 2 hours and not call a lick. And I'm sitting there, a little young fella, 13, 14-year-old, thinking, if it's what turkey hunting about, I'm through.
No
Well, after
fun.
going a few times and seeing it finally, but them Bankhead birds, them son of a if you overcall, I don't learn, if you overcall to them, you might as well go home.
Yeah.
They done been messed with so much. But that far as my yelp, that is my favorite. Little cluck with.
That's awesome.
You got to play with these things and learn them.
Mm-hmm.
Too much pressure, it changes everything. You let it ride, let the call, don't never pick that call up off of the. You notice how I use my thumb for a stop. And then when you cluck, just
Wow. I hope y'all hearing this. Hey everybody, welcome back to 18 Outdoors. Today we got Mr. Master of the Woods, Tony Myers. But today we're going to talk about turkey hunting 101. Tony's told about it, grown up like he was talking about being young, sitting with older guys out in the forest. And so we're going to go back to his basics, how he learned and suggestions on how you would start turkey hunting, because just like deer hunting or buck hunting, you got to be turkey hunting with those turkeys.
you got to start somewhere.
So you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you don't care, just start how you go about scouting a new area, how you try to find turkeys, and then go from there on your basic setups and stuff.
When Michael hollered at me, I thought, well, far as a turkey hunter, I probably ain't worthy to be doing a podcast on it. I learned the old school way. These guys right here in Lawrence County, it can kill some turkeys now. Those guys, Gerald Blankenship, Nick Jackson, I'm not in their category, so don't expect nothing impressive, but I be glad to share what I learned the hard way, the old way, Bankhead, which y'all know, everybody that hunts Bankhead knows. If you kill a bird out Bankhead, some years if you kill one, you done outstanding, because they are masters. Those birds out there are masters. Unless you look up and get on a 2-year-old bird, and then you can play with him a little bit. But yeah, just basically as a little young guy willing to tag along like everybody is now, somebody's got to learn from somebody. And the old guys, Mr. Hayes Woodruff, Mr. Alton Holland, you ever know Alton?
I've heard of him, yeah.
He's a snuff box man. And Mr. Hayes was, I never seen a man with so much patience turkey hunting in my life.
Wow.
He'd call one time, we'd be sitting there 2 hours, and I'd be thinking, what are we doing? And then what he learned me is Bankhead is not a calling. And these guys that hunt Bankhead regular will know exactly what I'm saying. Everybody thinks turkey hunting's about calling.
Right.
How good can you call? I said, man, I've heard hens come through the woods sound like a broke record,
Yeah.
But Bankhead is a different, it's in a class of its own. It's those old birds out there have been hooted at and messed with so much that they know exactly what's natural and what's not. So you better off to call and play the waiting game on him. And I've learned those birds out there, if you find an old bird, a tough one, and you'll call to him, if he ever gobbles black, just shut up and wait him out about 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And most of the time that joker come in, but he'll come in silent.
Yeah.
Now that goes to show you what kind of sharpness they are there.
Sharper than what people give them, huh?
It is.
Their instinct or something. So.
And I've learned stuff the hard way. I'm bad to call and get up and move, because I've had them come exactly to that spot that I last called from. I'll get up and move 20, 30 yards where I can actually watch that spot where I last called.
That's a good tip right there.
They are, yeah. And I got busted a few times. That's why I do that. I've learned learned them rascals know exactly the tree you called sitting beside them.
I've heard some of the older guys talk about that. You know, if you get one to gobble 1 or 2 times, you know, he answers you, just move a little bit and then set it out, wait it out.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, bank kids, like I said, it's in a class of its own. You can go to Tennessee. Before my birds died out 4 or 5 years ago, we'd go up there and I'd let my boy tag out. I'd call. He'd tag out before I'd even shoot a bird.
Wow.
And I just told him make sure I got my half that breast.
There you go. Got to have something to eat.
Yeah.
Well, how do you go about, say, looking at that area? So you drive down the road. What type of terrain or what kind of habitats that you're looking for to start scouting? So, what type of sign would you find where you'd like to start to set up on?
Compared to deer hunting, it's more of a less terrain thing than travel corridors. Turkey are just they're wanting to eat to survive. So what I do out my kid, just hit the old log roads, get in there and hoot out a little bit, or crow call, try to get a shot gobble for season. And then when you get in there on them creeks and areas in there, you'll see they'll tear the ground up where they're coming through there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you find turkey sign, you find turkey sign. Right. It's there. It ain't no guessing. Well, there's this, But sometimes you'll see a few scratches here and there, but it's real identifiable. They'll just rake the leaves back. It's no pawing, nothing but.
Fresh. You gotta have fresh sign or basically.
When you find fresh sign in there, these hens when turkey season comes around, more likely he's gobbling. Mm-hmm. But 2, we used to ride the roads a lot and hoot out and get them to shot gobble and then go back when season open. That there's a bird in that area, which everybody out Bankhead does that. So them old birds are pretty wide by the time it.
They can. Or I understand it. Conservation department can use that harassing wildlife law if there are people driving around too much doing that, because of hoot owling.
Well, it really hurts. It hurts that Bankhead because those birds, you take a bird once he gets 3-4 year old, man, they can figure that out. Yeah. One of the funniest things I had ever happened to me out Bankhead Forest, I was on the bird off in a hole on the creek. And I'd hunted him 2 or 3 times. Well, I slipped in there on him one morning and got set up. Old bird's gobbling on the roots, and I thought, well, I'm gonna wait till he hits the ground and call to him. So he hits the ground and I call him. Boy, he rattled the woods. He's about 80 yards on a little flat. And I'm working that bird, and like I said, I called once, and all I would do is just a soft cluck. Well, all of a sudden, 15 yards to my left, something clucks back at me. Mm-hmm. And I cut my eyes over, and there's a hen, and she walks 4 steps to my feet sitting there, and I cannot breathe. She gets on the hill behind me and starts it. Well, he's answering her, and I said, he is going to come to me, and she's calling, and I can't move. Well, she finally leaves. And there's a guy, she eases on up the ridge, and there's a guy comes down the ridge, his turkey is gobbling, and he's blowing a bullhorn. And I thought, you've got to be kidding me. Well, he run the gobbler off, make a long story short. But that's, those birds, like I said, out Bankhead, they are so educated. And a guy can tag out in Bankhead in my eyes, he's awesome. Yeah. He's awesome.
So when you find where you think a gobbler's at, and sometimes, like if you think there's one in the area, you'll just set up and say, sit down and let the woods wake up naturally. You're not going to do any kind of crow calling or anything right where you're hunting at. So.
The reason I've always shot gobbled up to several years ago, and then I learned that as much pressure, now we're still at Bankhead. I like to let him fly down and get into his morning routine and then start doing some just soft yips. And maybe a couple of times, not much. And once he answers me, I'll shut up. I'll shut up for, you sit there 2.5 hours on that fat boy cushion, about all I can stand. but I'll try to wait them out. And more times, Bankhead Forest, I can't tell you at the times that, now here's what I'm bad to do. I'll show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. once I make a few yips, I may sit there 30 minutes, and right here's the last call I'll make. I'll do it one time, and I put my box up, I take my diaphragm out of my mouth and put it back in my pocket so I will not call. And I can't tell you how many birds blanket I've had come in silent, slipping. So Mr. Hayes Woodruff taught me years ago, it ain't calling, it's patience. 90% patience, 10% calling. Now, if you get on a hot bird that is ready to go, now you got a different story. You can work that bird. Yeah. But they're moody jokers. You don't ever know. And every one of them's different.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people, the ones that don't have the patience or the younger ones, they want to find the right bird, and so that's basically a 2.5-year-old one. Just as soon as you do something, he can gobble and double gobbles and triple gobbles, and that's one,
You can have fun with him.
You can.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But nowadays, in them high pressure places, that I ain't heard that much of that. It's hard to get one to do that now. So.
It is. Even by the time these birds here, like I said, if you get in there with them on them 2-year-old birds, you can still have some fun. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it, like I said, and the only way I learned it is a young man sitting with these old timers that know their stuff, and they had already had the knowledge. And it's like a lot of these younger guys starting. That's why I've seen you go way out of the way to help anybody that needs a little knowledge. I do. Jamie does. All these guys, and that's what I like about these old Alabama redneck boys. We don't care to help anybody that needs a little help, because we didn't learn it by knowledge. We learned it from somebody.
Right, yeah.
And if we can help anybody else, And
a lot of years of, say 40, 50 years of what not to do.
Exactly.
What works best.
Learned by the school of hard knocks. That's how I learned mine.
Yeah. Oh, my. Well, tell us a few stories about, certain birds, ones you're real proud of, or the ones that got away, that story there.
My biggest bird I killed that bankhead, it may have been five years ago, I guess. I got on this bird, and that joker, like I said, you call to him, he'd go the other way. Well, I thought, ain't but one way to kill that bird, and that's call to him, get him to answer, just shut up. So I did. He answered off in the holler, and I'm up on the ridge, and I said, I'm going to call one time. When he answers, I'll shut up. Well, about 25, 30 minutes later, I look on the ridge about 65 yards, and the leaves are so crisp. It's just crisp. Can't get up and sneak on him. Well, I'm sitting there, and I just happened to look, never gobbled, and he's in full strut on the ridge with me. It's a little flat strut. There's a strut zone there, and I didn't know it. And I stacked him, there he is. And he struts about 4 or 5 minutes. He would gobble one time every 5 minutes. He pitched back off in the holler. And I reach over I had my slate laying beside me with my striker. And I clucked one time where he gobbled. I said, that rascal knows I'm here. All right. 10 minutes goes away, and he is back at the same spot, full strut again. He pitches off the second time in there. I said, ain't no way to kill that bird. Well, when he pitched off that time, I thought I'm not going to call no more, so I reach over and I just start raking the leaves, and he answered. He gobbled. So 3 times that bird come back, and he's a big old joker. And he's strutting again, and I said, what? I don't know what else to do. I'm lost. And I just reach over about 3 or 4 times, rake the leaves. He's still strutting. And he folded them wings and walked up there 20 yards. I mean, after about 2.5, 3 hours of this. Wow. And I killed him. He had nearly a 12-inch beard. He was a big old bird. Wow. But I was proud of him. If I ever earned a turkey, that one I earned. The rest of them was probably all luck, but that one I earned him.
So when you go in and find a spot to set up like that, your basic, say, camo situation, you trying to get your back up against a tree bigger than you, or behind some habitat, or? Oh yeah, back cover on turkeys is everything.
Good blend in camo, full head net, gloves, and I tell you, I got on. Give you another idea. I was working a bird, and he went quiet on me, and I was in a honeysuckle thicket with a big pine tree behind me, and basically all you could see was my head move if I moved. And there was a little drop, and it dropped off to a little flat. And I'd been sitting there maybe an hour and a half, and ain't moved nothing. And you ain't gonna believe it. This is greenhorn stuff. Prettiest fox squirrel I have ever seen in my life hops there, and I lost my train of thought on this gobbler. You know, and I'm watching this fox squirrel. And this happened, I'm telling you the truth. I'm watching this fox squirrel, and I turned my head, and I'm watching. I said, you know, that sure would be a pretty one to mount right there. If it squirrel season, that'd be a pretty fox squirrel mount. And when I did this, that gobbler standing in that flat right there, and son, it was over. I didn't have time to even get a gun up. It was just gone that quick.
It's funny how fast they can get away.
But I thought of all time, and can you believe this? And I sat there like, duh.
I've been like you talking about the patience thing. I had one gobble to me whatever, and I waited about 45 minutes so that sucker ain't coming. I'm gonna try to find me a hot one and move to go get up and
he was there.
Golly, he bumps. So,
Me and Brandon got on one bird gobbling. I bet he gobbled 40 times within 30 minutes, 40 minutes. He was gobbling, he'd double gobble, and you call to him. He'd gobble, he'd answer you. We sat there about an hour, and one come up right over the ridge right there, about 80, 90 yards. And he starts gobbling. Well, he's gobbling, working back and forth. I don't know, we may have sat there another 30, 40 minutes. And I told Brandon, I said, that bird shut up, he may be coming, but I said, he may have left wings. I said, let's ease up here on the ridge and see if we can get this one enticing. We go up there and hit one 10 minutes. We look down there where we were sitting, and that big gobbler's in full strut, 15 yards from where we'd been sitting. And I said, there you go with patience, son. Yeah. You got. I made a greenhorn move. I moved way too quick.
Yeah. What about levels? You know, you got different thoughts on how do you need to get when he's already on the ground. How do you need to get the same level above, below? What's your best scenario for trying to call one in?
Different areas is different. You like Tennessee, you don't worry about that. But man, kid, I've noticed I've had birds, they will come up a ridge to you where they can pitch off. But if they're coming down a ridge to you, they can't pitch off, if you think about it. Mm. So they're wise about that kind of stuff. I've had turkeys come in that you sit with your back to a place and think there ain't nowhere a bird to come up at. Yeah, they will too. It's just now if you got a bird across the creek, you know how they are about crossing the creek. Them jokers do not want to come across the. I don't think I've ever caught one across a big creek. I've heard guys say they've had them called them and they flew across it, but I've never caught one across the creek.
Yeah. Right. You hear people say they won't hardly do it. You know, Daniel Rutherford, he told me he said he had one that just flew over the creek and about landed on him.
Yeah,
you know?
There's another good turkey hunter.
Right. So,
I hate to mention a few because you don't want to leave nobody out, but we got some really, really good turkey hunters here there.
Yeah, so it just depends on the attitude of the turkey, and you know, you might big mature one, you know, 3 or 4 year old, he might not come across that water. You know, 2.5 year old, he might not come. So that's just situational, I guess. You know, attitude even with deer hunting, you know, it's kind of similar. So. Yeah. And
you know, you may get on a turkey 2 miles down the road and ain't been pressured like this rascal. It may be a whole different scenario. Like Bankhead years ago, you pull up to a gate around some areas, I won't name no areas, but you pull up there and do a shot, call him, walk out there on the ridge, in 5 minutes, you got it. He comes straight to you. Yeah. And then you may fool with another 4 hours and hunt him 2 weeks before you kill him, and you may not ever kill him.
Yeah. Sometimes, you know, kind of odd, like, there's some areas I go and I say, I know that dang turkey's here, and go 3 days in a row, try to listen and hear one, don't hear a dang thing.
I know it.
And then the next day go over there and be like 5 or 6 just gobbling heads. Like, what's the difference? You know, and can't never figure that part out, you know, to figure out the exact type of weather or whatever it is that makes them do that. So, or it just snaps, that's in their head, it snaps, it's time to gobble or whatever. But
they make such a big range too, and you can go in there and then hear nothing. And 3 days later, go back to the same area and you got birds gobbling everywhere. Yeah. I remember one morning I was out Bankhead hunting, and right at break of day, 2 birds gobbling. And I'm sitting there about 8 o'clock. I heard right across the ridge from me, I heard 4 or 5 little small, just soft yips. Boy, they sounded good. And it didn't make another sound. About 30 minutes later, I thought, I got turkey hunter in here with me. I don't know who he is. Well, I come on out about 10:30, 11 o'clock and went down the road, and it was Gerald Parker's dad. His old timer done he banked his whole life and killed some turkeys. But just listening to him, he called that one time, and 2.5 hours later when I come out, it's him just easing out of the wood. And I said, Mr. Parker, you doing good? He said, didn't hear a bird gobble. I said, well, listen, I'm not going to be able to come back in here the next few days. 2 birds gobbled on that point right there. You get back here in the morning before daylight. He said, yeah, I was running a little late. I said, get back in here before daylight and you'll probably kill one of them birds. But guys like that right there that had hunted them their whole life is patient and know when to call, when not to call. And then I'll tell you something else. I think a lot of guys call too loud. You hear a lot of them get on that thing, boy, and I think that hurts. Too loud of calling. Yeah.
I can hear a lot better than people think. Really.
Yeah, they pick it up big time. You don't have to bear down on it really.
Well, pick that thing up and just give us a little slide.
Which one you want?
Yeah, whatever one, do a variety of them, run through a series. We'll say the slate call whatever first, and then give that.
Now this is just it's not a custom call. It's a HS Strut limb shaker from Walmart, which I got a Eddie Salter striker, and I've got a carbon striker, and I've got a custom striker. And believe it or not, these strikers all work a different call different.
Oh yeah.
So
that's a big
this is just and for a $20 call, you club. And then I always do a little J hook for my purr.
Just making a J with a striker.
Make a little J hook. And I don't know about everybody else, but I've noticed the edges of your call is more. Let me do it in the center and you listen. Now listen on the outside there. That's horrible right there.
That's another thing, is some people think you gotta get so perfect, but you've heard,
No, you don't.
You can hear a
You
turkey
don't.
like you're talking about what in the
If you hunt, hey, if they want to see a perfect color, they got the wrong man on here. It works for me.
Right.
This is Eddie Salter call. It's a soft hips, just. All right. Here's a carbon
When
striker.
a gobbler flies down, he makes a gobble on the ground. What would be your first call with a slate call?
In the morning, like if he's flying down and he hits the ground and he gobbled. Now here we go out bankhead again, just soft little. That's about it. If you call again, I pick up and I'll hit a soft yep. That's it. I'm not a good caller, but that works for me, and I've killed several turkeys with that right there. Yeah. If it was good calling, I probably never would kill a good turkey. But anyway, this is my favorite. I think I done showed you this one, but I like a box call. And it sounds off. This is not an expensive call. Maybe a $50 call. You get that 2-part in there, that high. in the club with it. I just hold my thumb there and just kind of tap it. If I'm working a bird and he starts coming in and he hangs up, where I don't have to move my hands, I will use the diaphragm just to. And in the mornings when they fly down, I use this for my kiki. You heard of a kiki? They'll do the kiki flying down. And if they're flying down, and I got a bunch of hens, and there ain't no need if you got a bunch of hens flying down saying a word.
Right.
But they'll use this. I use the diaphragm for the kiki. It's that's a cut. In other words, that cut is that old hen saying, "Come on, big boy." But that's what I use to cut with, and like I said, if he's coming in where you ain't got to move him hands, and mainly if that turkey coming, I ain't gonna call. But if he hangs up, I will just I'll use it.
Mm-hmm. You about to do your mouth as good as that, can't you?
I used to. I done got old on the horse.
Old horse.
I can't do it anymore. I used to could call good with my mouth. Can't do it anymore.
That's pretty good.
But I use my mouth to hoot out. I use a crow call. If sometimes you can crow yourself to death, not nothing, just to. Sometimes they'll shout gobble to death, but I've learned if there's a lot of crows in the area, they won't do it. But I'll use I hoot out with my mouth. It's just I've got more shot gobbles out of that right there than anything. But like I said, I'm just a simple turkey hunter. Has killed a few birds over the years the hard way.
Oh, we all have on that. So, what do you think? You think a population is kind of hurting a little bit? You got any thoughts on that?
I think we're getting a few birds more than we've had in the years. It seems like it's picked up a little bit, but now it's so spotty.
Yeah.
Some areas you ain't got no birds, and then you find some. But Tennessee, now I'm gonna tell you, we've had more fun hunting Tennessee over the years than turkey hunting. And then about 4 years ago, our bird about died out. I don't know. I've heard every kind of. They said they got some kind of disease, and I noticed 4, 5, 6 years ago they started planting a lot of crops, and I heard it was blamed on chicken manure. So I don't know. I think turkeys once something gets in them, they not survival rate's not real good.
You know, by year to year they make a crazy swing. So it's kind of hopefully.
But from what most of the guys I've talked to that turkey hunt a whole lot now, bank kids said they thought that in areas there's a lot of birds. They've seen a lot of birds, and in some areas they're not. So.
Well, y'all hear keep saying bank kid. We're not specifically saying that's where you got to hunt. Whatever, because today's people they get aggravated about that. But this area around where Tony lives that's where he grew up. Getting trained at learning the turkeys. So, and that's another thing is I always heard that bank kid that area was one of the only places, or maybe one of the few, but I always heard it was the only place that they never stopped turkeys. It's like the original. Flock.
Yeah,
so
I didn't know
Alabama
that.
flock. That's just what I'd heard. I've never got anybody to verify that because you hear about a lot of the old stuff. Nobody knows anymore what actually happens.
Yeah.
So they didn't keep that good of records or whatever it was. So, but that there was my younger days, that was about, that in Okmulgee is about the only place I knew of to go turkey hunting, as far as seeing, decent.
Well, see, that's the way we are. You didn't know. Everybody hunted everybody's private land back down the valley, but I keep saying bankhead, but I don't mean to be pointing to an area in general, but that's where I learned cut my teeth turkey hunting, and that's where all my good memories are in bankhead. So I keep saying bankhead, but it pertains to anywhere you hunt.
Yeah, y'all hear him say bankhead, and y'all think y'all can just come on out and jump on them and kill one. Yeah, that's just like the buck hunt, the big buck hunt. Yeah, it ain't as easy as you think.
No. Hey, that's one thing about. Here we go, bankhead again. But a guy that kills deer, bankhead, good bucks on a continual basis, he has my utmost respect. And a guy can go out bankhead and tag out on turkeys, man, he's good. That's all you can say about it.
Well, Jay, you can't tag out on turkeys now.
No.
Right, there's two.
Yeah.
You can't kill no more than two or something like that.
They changed it up. Yeah,
you better be reading them rules. So.
Well, you kill that one, I think. You kill one, you got to wait so long. Then you kill that second one, you got to go to a different area to hunt it.
Yeah, so 1 in 10 first 10 days, and then can't use decoy first 10 days or something like that. You got a bunch of rules you got to read, and that's kind of makes it a little bit tough.
I'm going to show you this old gobble box. This thing's old as the hills. But it does more of an old raspy hen.
Is that a Ben Lee call?
It is.
Oh, Ben Lee, that's old.
Ain't no telling how many turkeys are being killed with these, and it's not a. I've had more birds answer this thing, and I don't know what it is about it, but it's not a raspy. It's old hen calls. What it sounds like. And I think rhythm.
Right. Yeah.
I think your rhythm means more than sweet, pretty call, and that rhythm means a lot. But man, I don't know. I've had some old hens come through the woods, and you sit there and think, ain't no way that's a turkey.
Yeah, that's true.
But hopefully, like I said, I learned the hard way and the old school way, but probably some guys that are trying to learn, maybe this will help them out some.
I believe it will. So, any other odd end things, do you like in the evenings, you see, say during season in the evenings, will you ride around and try to get one roosting, or you do that a lot? So.
What I like to do in the evenings, now I'll do a morning hunt, and if a bird's, or if the hens, if it's that time of turkey season, if the hens are nesting a little later in the morning, I go eat breakfast and come back about 11 or 12, and I have eased into our area that I hunted that morning, turkey gobbling set up, and within 30 minutes had him shot. In the evenings, I like to, there's strut zones, what I call strut zones, and birds will come in there and the gobblers will come in there and they'll strut and hoping that a hen will come in that area. I like to set up on them strut zones and set your decoys out. And I'm pertaining to more lower public land, private land now. When I moved out of Bankhead, we own. Right. But yeah, when you see an area that you identify as a strut zone, I like to set them decoys up. And I've had the big gobbler decoys work, and I've had gobblers top of the hill and see that thing and hen and turn around and go back where they come from. And then I got one now that's called Old Funky Chicken. He's pitiful.
Yeah.
Looks like he starved to death.
Yeah.
But you would not believe it. I've had gobblers see that thing stand there, that hen, and boy, he's
running. One they think they can whoop. So.
Yeah, they think they ain't got to be worrying about a whooping with him. But I like to do that in the evening instead of set up on a strut zone or just ease through. And when you hear one gobble, a lot of times you can work that bird. So.
Now, how do you distinguish the strut zone? I've been to places like you walk over logging road or something at the bottom or in some big flat, and you'll see the marks, like wing marks, and that's kind of what I distinguish it.
Anytime you find that where he's strutted and them, like you said, the wing marks and dust bowls. Dust bowls there, they spend a lot of time in, and they like to hit them dust bowls. But most of the time, some of the ones I've learned by slipping and bumping them, and realizing, hey, they here for a reason, and go back in that area, and then you may not kill him, but you'll see him in that area strutting, and you know where to go back to.
Yeah, that's a good point. So.
But yeah, it's a lot of varying in this turkey hunt.
So, what about droppings? What can you distinguish the dropping between a hen dropping and a gobbler dropping?
Now, far as me, over the years being told, not my knowledge, but I think the old gobbler's got kind of a hook in the head. Yeah. And that's from hearing people tell me that, and I've seen it in the woods.
You see it in the woods, the difference.
You see the difference. So, far as me knowing, that's just what I've always been told.
That's a pretty good little test.
It's about here on us, ain't it?
That's good, man.
I'm hoping they'll call me and get this. I had that left cataract surgery last week. I'm hoping they get my right one done where I can hunt some.
Well, you ain't got to see far by shotgun either.
No, I got a little 20 gauge now with that TSS. That 3.5 inch Magnum about killed me a few times. I've shot birds and have to hold my head net on my nose when I go get the bird because it busts my nose.
Oh, well, I got a 835 and that son gun. I hate shooting that thing in the pattern,
The 3.5.
3.5,
Yeah,
that thing hurts you. That sucker hurts you, but
Yeah.
the equipment nowadays has changed so much. You're talking about the TSS and stuff, all that. I've got a 410 that I picked up that I'm gonna shoot. Got it mainly for Kathy, but I'm gonna pattern that thing and have it, because you can take off and do them long runs with something like slider.
Well, I tell you what I learned too, pattern that 835 with a 3.5. I got a 935 Ultimag, and I patterned it with 3-inch long beard. It outshot the 3.5.
Yeah, them long beard was some pretty good shells.
And then I fooled around, bought this little 20 gauge and put a red dot on it, and the TSS at 40 yards. My goodness gracious. So I'm gonna hunt with a 20 gauge.
Well, if it gets too close to you, say 10 yards, like be shooting like a...
Yeah, you better hold that on him. You better not flinch.
Hold it tight.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's been good talking to you. I appreciate you coming to the house, brother.
Anytime.
Sweet. So
Anytime.
hopefully y'all can learn a little bit from this. He's gonna say he's not a turkey master or whatever, but he's a woods master. He's learned a lot and real good woodsmanship. So talking to these guys, if you see him out, catch him, buy him lunch or something, and ask him a few questions that you want.
I'm wide open.
You're a wide open book, ain't you?
I'm wide open.
So these guys is hard to find nowadays, and that's what makes it tough, because all the technology that people are using now has made things maybe a little bit easier. It's easier to access and find stuff, but actually getting one-on-one and talking to some of the older guys that grew up, learning the hard way when turkeys were just starting, the population was just starting to start booming and stuff like that. So
yeah,
he learned a lot. So y'all take that and give us some comments about it. We appreciate y'all watching and try to get a turkey flat here coming up. So, but anyway, we'll see y'all. Appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
Anytime, brother.
Thank y'all for watching this video. Hey, we appreciate y'all's support. Hey, you don't care if you haven't got a book yet, Amazon, get a book. We got hard copies now available. It took me a while to get them, but hey, they're on there now. Again, we appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's hard work that helped us to get this done. Lifetime achievement. So anyway, you can get one. And thanks again for your support. Subscribe, like, tell your friends, and we'll keep coming up with these videos. So we'll see y'all on the next one.